So today we are going to do layer 8s of Torghast, but we are going to do them without Legendaries and without Trinkets. So our item level is going to be, what, 166 apparently. No Trinkets, no food or flask or anything like that. Let's move that off the action bar. And we're going to give these +8s a go. And talk our way through it, I think. So starting with apparently the upper reaches, which is the one I already haven't done this week. Oh yeah, I probably should have showed off the talents. That would have been a smart thing to do if I was paying attention. Whether I am paying attention or not, we'll find out. So, Fire Affinity, Heart of the Wild. Sword of the Forest maybe wasn't the one I should have gone for. Oh well. It's all good, it's all good. Right. Ooh. I think we're going to go for the permanent effects of Heart of the Wild. We have a tower sentry to begin with. Wait, I haven't transformed this helm, so I'm going to look ugly. Wow. So, I think personally these guys are like actually the toughest enemy in the entire place. The tower sentries. So, their slam can hit pretty hard if you leave them alive for too long. Wow, I really don't like this helm on my character. Can you actually remove items from your character or not? Preventing equipment, talent and specialization swapping, but can I remove it? No, wow. Can't even remove gear in Torghast. When we do the next one, we'll do it without a helm. Sort of can't do it without more bonuses that I bought. Right. Oh yeah, explosion structural remains. Okay. This is more like it. We should really look at healing here. Just take them nice and slow. That's all we need to do. Spirits, and this looks like a double elite pack. Right, they both got Shader's Directive. Okay, so what we're going to do, we'll just root one of these. And I think this is probably a worthy convoker target. Oh no, don't fear me! Oh. Okay, so most of the elites can no longer see through stealth. On beta, everything can see through stealth, which is very annoying. But apparently these guys are one of the only ones that can see through stealth still, which is fair enough. Both times running in the same direction. I wonder if you just always run in a straight line directly away from it. Oh jeez. And hey, that's why you go or the soulbind that gives you a bag of goodies whenever you do Torghast. Just get some nice items. Oh, I see, when the jailer was, not the jailer, when the rune cover was talking to me earlier. Yeah, it means we have this dude over here. So, what we got on this one? So this is just a straight line, yeah. So I'm pretty sure I should probably start off in cat form. I just found it always that much easier just to start off with Moonfire Sunfight. It just gets the entire thing going a bit quicker when you're soloing stuff coming towards you, getting feared, not getting feared. Yeah, we're doing this without trinkets or legendaries, just so that there's no sort of argument that, hey, it's being carried by this legendary or this trinket is exactly what you need. So I'll take the single target boost one there. Entangling roots is never my preferred strategy for doing this. I always want to focus on dots. Well, first priority is always increased damage. Second priority is increased dots. Dots will probably be the way we do here. We had the choice of buffing up our Convoke the Spirits, but I think, considering you get to spend so much time on cat form, single elite here should be no issue. Probably worth convoking though, so it's off cooldown. And apparently we'll just pull that guy over there as well. But the caster mobs like this one, they're never too much of an issue for you. I like the safety net here. Instantly killing a non-elite is not, that's never going to be really the issue. As long as you call carefully, it'll never be what you need. Whereas healing to full can basically like get you through the tough part. Torghast, I think, is more a case of dealing with the difficult sections rather than being able to get through quickly, at least when you're going through your top 8. If you're at a lower level, by all means go for the instant kill. But the priority here is making sure that we don't die. About to hop Heart of the Wild there and realise I don't need to. You out. Just wait a bit there, I think, in order to get out another rip. And like elite in the first floor, not really that dangerous at all. Don't really need extra auto attack range. Convokes back up. Easy's not through. Yeah, caster's never really too much of an issue when you're playing healer, just because, I mean, that's the best way of countering spell damage, is just to out heal it really. Melee guys tend to attack quicker and can actually deal more damage, because there's such things as like warriors or whatever who are designed to take them. I say warriors, whatever, it's probably just tanks. see what we get from this. I'm always in favour of going for the bag of goodies because Torghast is a one-time thing, but this bag is forever. If I wasn't confident, I probably would have gone for waiting for Convoke here, which may have been the right thing to do. So here, just putting down an Efflorescence. I know it's single target, but it's just something I can do beforehand. It lets me, it's just another hot that I can put on myself. Here, just getting ourselves back up to nice and full. There's one order there, lol. But just get ourselves top back up before we can spend a lot of time in tap form and doing other DPS abilities. Or pacified. Interesting. Alright, so here is the damaging proc. They're always really good, these damaging procs. And it just allows you to get through the fact that you're a healer, really. Because the damaging proc is going to be the same for everyone, but your mob's health is lower than, say, if you were a DPS. This is normally one, yeah, this is generally one big room, this map. Normally quite a few elites up there. We're going to try and knock out Tower Sentinel sooner rather than later. Otherwise his haste is just going to be a pain for the rest of the map. Here, just want to make sure that I've got my combo points ready to go for the Sentinel. Even though I'm literally pulling everything else in the way. Just to show how inefficient you can actually be as a healer doing this. Or at least a druid healer doing this. Yeah, again, two Tower Sentinels. Once we get rid of one, we can always wait for Convoke for the other if this one feels like a danger, which it clearly is not. We'll increase Bartschin's duration here. Bartschin is certainly one of the more useful tools that you've got. That way you don't have to necessarily leave cat form in order to heal. You can just pop Bartschin. And if we get the Thorns effect later on, then Bartschin's going to reflect damage. Okay, well that propped my my ability there, which I should have been a bit more focused on not having it proc, since I was actually clearly not so used to playing around with it. Oh hello, this one's actually a double pack over here, which means we get a chance to see whether we can pull only one of them. I'm going to grab this Anima Power over here though. Which is, let's do some reflecting damage. So my general way of trying to pull one is, not to aggro these two, but we'll aggro them here, is to cleave off onto them from one of the smaller packs around the outside. So if we just pull these two skeletal remains, then we're going to take the one at the back. I'm going to hit him with a Moonfire, and then as he's running past the Tower Sentinel, we're going to hit him with a Sunfire so it hits the Tower Sentinel too. And aggro both of them, so we'll just root. Luckily Convoke is back up, so we can Convoke here. That should guarantee kill the Tower Sentinel. movement speed is not something that I ever really care about. You're a druid, you never need movement speed. It doesn't help you get through the tough parts of the encounter. This guy's now going to be starting to hit extremely hard. Definitely time to use Bart's Chair. Spend a bit of time getting ourselves up healthy. Oh, and just Dot's taken down anyway. So definitely the double packs are going to be the toughest bits. I think generally even more so than bosses, really. We'll have another go at trying to aggro one in the middle, even though there's only one there, so it doesn't really gain anything from doing it that way. Another thing you can do is just try and reset the pack by running back, but you do need quite a bit of room for it, and it works great in a room like this, which is big, but not for some of the small corridors. Apparently we'll just aggro everything. And this is what happens when you have mobs fighting each other. Sometimes you get some really weird aggro setups. Like apparently aggroing this guy over there. But despite the fact that you are in a dungeon, it's mobs do reset, and that's a pretty key thing about dealing with some of those obnoxious ones. As long as you can get far enough into the floor in order to actually reset. But apparently this guy still wanted to have a go. We'll convoke here since this guy's already got 5 stacks of the buff. And it might also be time to run. Well, let Dots take care of him. Oh. Okay. That's what happens when weird aggro mechanics line up, clearly. Not paying too much attention to your health. That's why I wanted to take the heal back up to full. It was just wasted earlier when I was too not cautious enough. It really wants to give me this cloud. But the Phantasm ones, the Phantasm bonuses are very much like a long-term investment. It does mean that you can't get through the hardest floors, which I generally tend to floor 1 and 2, because you have the least amount of powers. However, it does mean that really, once you get to floor 3, you should be in a very good spot. So you're going to be able to have a greater choice of how you spend and get your powers. Actually, making these guys hits is going to be on the harder side. Despite the fact all I've lost is trinkets, which shouldn't actually hurt my survivability any. But it's probably the ramping up there on this one here. We'll just convoke this guy as well. As convoke should reset between floors. You are hitting pretty hard when you have that buff, mate. Good time for Barkston. I think enemies affected by Moonfire deal 10% less damage. It was great when it was 20, it's a bit of a shame it's only 10 now and stats twice instead. But that's probably why they changed it, just to nerf it slightly, but I still think it's a fairly good one. Because everything at all times really should be affected by Moonfire if you're here doing this solo. So no rule excuse here. We'll just sort off that. See what goodies we have on the freebie floor. I definitely gonna have, oh, trap. Alright, I don't recognise that final boss. Right. Always go for Ravenous Cell, that's my personal favourite. It's probably not always the right thing. Right, what else have we got here? Definitely go for the Bottle of Moonshine. Never a big fan of any of these really. Extra stats. If you've got the bonus, this one's pretty much always worth taking, I guess. So I think we might just take the stats rather than take a chance. I'm a much more cautious guy. Want to take stuff that I know is actually going to get useful. Criminal heals have a high chance to apply Iron Bark. Now, Cloak of Thorns does affect Iron Bark, so I actually think this one's pretty good when you've got the Cloak of Thorns. And that's, well, that's not what you meant to do. Throw it at that guy, but I guess I'll take the 4. I was actually waiting for that later on. But hey. That's just what happens if you choose not to throw it at an enemy. I think that's generally only really worth doing if you have the extra Phantasm. I did not pay attention to the ground there. That was pure luck. I think just not. You don't really need to be able to jump, so just 30% extra intellect seems pretty good. This looks like another quite generic floor look. Only has a few fighting NPCs and a few devils. I think we might head left to begin with. Looks like the easier side, based on the fact that there's only one elite. We'll probably, I think we will use the Invoke. We should need it for the next 2 minutes. And just focus on non-elites for a bit. See if we can get around to that soul. Make sure that we don't actually engage those guys in combat. It's a very weird combat pattern they've got up here. Just, I think probably because one of the mobs that's engaged in the combat is fearing. He's fearing them into the incorrect location. Grab a couple of extra souls here. Oh, I understand my power over there. I'm going to leave that pack for now. It's really just too tough to be. It's not really tough per se. It's more just. It's a bit of a threat. More just Okay, that was done nicely there. Just grab it with the Sunfire. I'm going to try and avoid using Convoke on this one. Make sure we don't waste our heal to full. Now that we've got Convoke, we will give that big pack a go. Probably the best bet is to try and knock out some of the social remains that are more than fine to take things a bit slow here. Sunfire and everything is probably not the best idea, but there's so many skeletal remains that it felt like the best thing to do with them. But normally, if this wasn't one full of skeletal remains, I would definitely focus on okay, now let's take down this caster. Oh no, apparently we can't even get up there. Wow. Oh no, of course we can't, because we can't jump. That's sort of hilarious. But at least they've come down, so now we should be able to Convoke. So we're far enough away from the roar. And time to run. And that was our heal to full. This is probably a good idea of why we don't. But maybe the best idea would have been just to not do anything with this pack. Luckily, every time they're fearing, they're standing still. So maybe we can just run and no problem. And attacks have a chance to deal nature damage. Though the full moon one is also a personal favourite of mine as well. I think both of them are good picks. And we didn't even free this soul over here. So that was a 3 elite pack with an awful lot of skeletons taken out. So if we can do that pack, we really won't do anything. Probably shouldn't need Convoke for this one, so we can save it for the other elites. No danger of it proccing our heal to full now. As much as I'm not a big fan of either of these two, I really just don't use entangling roots enough to warrant it. Actually, that was a rather large pool. It probably shouldn't be as big as it was. Should be fine. Even if you're Feral Affinity, you can still easily just take the time to Wrath. If you don't want to get close to things. Your Wrath is much stronger, equivalently wise to your normal damage than, say, like Throw Weapon would be as a Rogue or another melee class. Let's try and snag just the one this time. No, we grab both of them. Root this guy. Of course, he's your caster, so he does it anyway. That's fine. We can get rid of this by shifting. It's definitely time for a Convoke. Man, these guys really go. That's what you get for taking the car. A few damaging procs, one Convoke, and you're going to deal with most enemies from now on, apart from the final boss probably. Just be nice and efficient and let dots work through. That's pretty much the ground floor cleared with this one. This sort of map one here, I think the ground floor is normally the worst bit. There might be a couple of elites at the top. But normally for a map, once you've cleared through like half of it, you're not to be in any issue, because if need be you can always just kite back. That is probably going to be a Mimic in the middle there. Anima Power in the middle of nowhere, just screams. Or not in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of everything, normally just screams fake. So we'll clear everything out outside and do this little thing. So we need to find the one that triggers all four. That's 2, that's 1, that's 3, so that's 4. So we're going to trigger this one until its chain is broken, and we'll trigger the 3 until its chain is done, we'll trigger the 2 until it's done, and finally click the single chain. Well, we're not doing frost damage and healing, so we'll increase our crit instead. I don't want to get too close to aggro the Mimic, so we'll just use ranged attacks on these. Let's go grab our Mimic. And we'll have Convoke up for the last boss as well. Nothing else to see here. Now we did grab the one that increases our damage when we come out of stealth for a few seconds, so let's make use of that. Load up on combo points and then use Convoke, as Convoke will generate a nice lot of combo points for you. And I think we're going to go for increased single target damage, which you can't really go amiss with in Torghast. I think everything that you're going to struggle with normally, especially when we're approaching floor 5 and floor 6. This is a pretty much enemy-less floor. This Shackler is the only enemy plus the final boss. I want to try and kill him before he actually gets the chance to run back. But now we're basically just playing a game of dodge the traps, because that's all this floor is. You'll be very thankful for Druid mobility on this type of floor. That's not how you dodge the traps. You need to wait for your turn. The good news is that this type of floor is generally another freebie floor. As long as you pay attention to the trap markings on the ground. Let the beam shoot across. don't be too eager. Look at the ground for where the axes are going to come down. And there'll be an animus cell at the either end. Our last boss might summon ads, I'm not sure. If it was anything else, I would, like, that's a good ability earlier on, but I know now that we probably only actually have 2 enemies. So the only real reason I took it is because I don't want to take the other one. And there's a chance the boss summons ads, but most ads and most bosses probably don't. So we'll just grab all the cells, we'll grab the animus, one from the other end. That's did not look like I was in that, but apparently you need to be careful. Well, both of these are pretty awful. Yeah, we have no more enemies that already drop an animus cell, other than the one that's guaranteed to drop an animus cell. And we're not in Guardian affinity, so we're not really going to be popping into Guardian form in order to use Growl. So, overall, a bit of a dud. But we'll take out this guy, no problem. That's the only real mob on the floor. And we'll take the reduced cooldown and convoke. There's a chance that we end up using it after using it twice. We'll head up to the last boss here. What have we got for sale here? Grab another ammo cell. We'll be pretty much buying a lot considering we wasted our previous one, so those are all still useless. We'll grab more stats. More stats. But pretty much grab everything. I tend to not go for food or whatnot here. We'll spawn some healing orbs, get some extra damage from stealth. Affinity bonuses, minor benefit to it. And again, more bad choices. I'll finally take a root one here. Okay, this boy doesn't see through stealth. So we'll knock him a new one. I just realised Convoke did not actually end up resetting. Let's refresh these. And now we have Convoke ready to go. We'll grab our last healing orb. No problem. And apparently we did a pet as well. So that's a layer 8 done. Wearing an awful helmet. No legendaries or trinkets. Not needed.